what's going on, everyone? Before we get into our conversation, I want to let you know this podcast is sponsored by BetRivers.com. BetRivers.com, the best place for all your sports gambling needs. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You can also watch all of these episodes on the Field of 68 YouTube channel. Now, let's get into our conversation. Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Eric Devendorf, your host of the Scores Table podcast. And today's guest didn't play at Syracuse, but he is an honorary Syracuse legend. He won the TBT this summer with the Boeheim's Army, also won the MVP of the tournament, former Boston College star, EuroLeauge star, played in various high-level teams overseas in Europe. I appreciate him coming on, spreading his basketball knowledge. My guy, Tyrese Rice. What's going on, bro?
What's up, my guy? What's going on? Thanks for having me. How you doing?
All good. Appreciate you taking the time to come on, chop it up.
Indeed, had to.
Let's start you growing up back home in VA, man. Just kind of how you got involved with the game, who introduced it to you, or kind of what piqued your interest?
Well, actually, I'm originally from Salisbury, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like that's where my family's from. I moved to Richmond when I was about 8 or 9 years old, something like that. So I grew up in Richmond, but my beginning years when I first got introduced to the game was then in Salisbury. My whole family hooped though, so it wasn't really, it had to be ball for real.
So your mom was a coach?
My mom was my coach when I was a kid, when I was like 5, 6, 7 years old, something like that. My mom hooped, my grandmother hooped, my aunt hooped, like everybody, like all the women in my family played ball. And one of my uncles did as well. So yeah, like my mom was my coach at like 5 or 6 years old, something like that. She was my coach then.
So you say mom was really the one who kind of, put it in your blood then, for real?
Yeah, she put the ball in my hands for sure. My grandmother was the one that was the nice one, but she definitely put the ball in my hands for sure.
Okay, so you start growing up playing in North Carolina, then you moved to VA. I guess at what age did you was like, all right, this is something that I want to do. I could be pretty good at.
Back then, it was really just ball or nothing. Probably at a young age, 5, 6, like, fell in love with the game. My family grew up with Bobby Jackson. He used to spend, a lot of time at my grandmother's house when I was young. He was in high school and stuff at the time. He was like Mike Jordan there. You know what I'm saying? Like he was
Bobby Jackson, Sacramento,
yeah,
Minnesota. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So he was like my first like childhood like idol. You know what I'm saying? Like as a kid, like seeing him, he from where I'm from. He come to my grandmother's crib all the time. Like I see this man at least 2, 3 times a week. We be at the gym. I was a kid, like I'm little, like 3, 4, 5, like I'm little, like really little, but I'm watching this and didn't even really understand the effect that he was having on me as a young kid at that age, like to see him come from that area, go to college, be great at college, play of the year in college, go to the league, 6th man a year in the league, like all of that. Like it was, I watched him play in the Western Conference Finals. He used to fly me and my peoples out there for the Western Conference Finals every year. Like, so, I got to see that as a youngin', and that experience, just soaking that in. I never really understood what that was doing for me until, I got old enough to understand.
Damn, people don't understand how tough Bobby Jackson was. He was he was a bulldog at that point guard.
He was like that.
I remember watching Bobby Jackson growing up. He was like that. So you get to Richmond. What's the hoop scene like in Richmond? You know what I mean? So what age did you kind of be like, you started to hit that competition? You're like, okay, this some real bump right here.
Probably like 12, 13. Like 12 or 13 is when I really started to think like other dudes was like really like getting like really good. And when we started playing against like national competition and all of that, you start really seeing how good guys truly are all over the world. But in Richmond, And Richmond was tough, a lot tougher than people, give it credit for because there's not a lot of guys that come out of Richmond. There's so many guys that did make it out of Richmond, just like, a lot of other places, but it's even more there because it's so small. That's why the number of guys is small. Like these other cities, they're bigger cities, they got more guys, so more guys come out of that city. We're a smaller city, so it's only a few that really get out there and really do it.
So, but yeah, because Richmond, like you said, is small, but it got some talent now. I know they got some hoopers out
Definitely
there.
got talent. We definitely got
Yeah.
hoopers for sure.
Yeah,
Like
so
you got a bunch of Reggie Williams,
yeah,
Brandon Rozelle, man. Then you got the OGs. It's guys. We got plenty of guys.
and they all from Richmond, right?
Yeah, except for Man. Man not from Richmond, but he from down North Carolina. But he just like me in Syracuse. He honorary
Right.
Richmond.
That's a fact. Yeah, so talk about like going. So you went to LC Bird, and we'll talk about your senior year because we ended up playing against each other when I was at Oak Hill. But you kind of like you jumped onto the scene at LC Bird like you was the man right away. So kind of talk about that experience just coming in and being the man. I guess at a young age, so it kind of helped you along your career.
Yeah, that confidence was given to me from my coach, my high school coach. He was, he put the ball in my hands early, like very early, like when that was like not a common thing to do at all. Even like guys that were before me, they was questioning him like, yo, like what are you doing? Like why would you start him on varsity? Like all types of questions. And he just had hella faith in me, and he always instilled confidence in me. And I really think he was the one that kind of pushed me over the top. Like as far as like belief, like he pushed me over the top because he put me in every situation possible. Like even as a freshman, I'm talking like end of the game, draw the game ball up for me. Like, hey, here you go. You got to make the shot. Like stuff like that early, like third, fourth game of the season early, freshman year varsity. Like, nah, we're gonna start you against the number 2 team in the state. Like, nah, they got the best backcourt in the state, maybe one of the top 10 best backcourts in the country for high school at that time. Go ahead, bro. Go start against them. Like he was putting me in situations like that, young, and it was like just either you gonna figure it out or you're not.
Yeah. The great ones figure it out though. Like if you really want it, you know what I mean, and you really wanted to be good, you weren't going back down from a little adversity. You being like a smaller guard, right? Especially at that, would you say you was more getting to the rack at first and just being creative, or was you a guy that you could just get your space and hit that jumper? Which one did you kind of prefer to do early on?
I didn't even really start to shoot a lot of threes and stuff like that until I got to high school, because that was how we played. Like we played, played literally like the Warriors. Yeah, we played like the Warriors played before the got 25, 33s a game, like from anywhere on the court at any moment. Like it wasn't nothing for us to shoot 33s in a game back then. This was 2002, 2003. Like we looked crazy doing it, but it became a thing where we was from. And the fact that we would just go out there and be able to do that, it opened up so many other things. So I didn't even start to shoot there. Like I was always break down, get in the paint, draw some defenders, kick out, drop offs, things like that. I didn't even start to score until really score until high school.
Let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with Bet Rivers yet, now's the time, because they are offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money. With their new Rush Pay instant approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, more secure, and more reliable. With basketball season right around the corner, there's never been a better time to get in on the action by going to betrivers.com today or downloading the Bet Rivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call telephone number 1-800-GAMBLER. So you get your freshman year, you talk about you get the balls in your hands right off top. You're going against the high level competition from a young age. What year would you say your recruitment you really started to pick up? Now you starting to see these letters, you getting these calls, guys is coming to watch you play.
Um, I always got a lot of like letters and things like that, but I never got a lot of real interest. Like coaches, they were coming to see me play. They were around a lot, but they weren't like, oh, we want this kid. Like I wasn't getting a whole lot of that
Was it
until
because your
probably,
size, you think?
quite honestly, I don't know what it was. I think actually what I think is coaches believed that I was like a tweener. They didn't know
Okay.
if I was good enough to play high major, and they didn't know the mid majors thought I was too good to play mid major. Because like I mean, I went to all the camps, I went to the Nikes, I went to everything, like, and came out of there at I was somewhere in the top 5, top 7 every time, like in the point guard. So it was like, well, why is the big schools not recruiting him? Like all the other guys that's in the top 15, they got Carolina, Duke, UCLA, Arizona, like they got everybody. I'm the one guy in there that don't have none of that. So it was always kind of for me, recruiting wise.
Because because you was all state, like you averaged damn near 30 points a game. You won the state championship your senior year, 2004, 2005, and that's the
No, no,
same
no, we
year.
didn't win it. We
Oh,
didn't win it.
2000, it wasn't. Oh, I read
No,
it
no, no,
wrong.
no.
Then. Okay, what happened that
Yeah,
year?
no. We lost in the final four to the same team my junior and senior year. They won it both years. Like that was really the state championship game both years.
And that was
Like
the same year that y'all played us.
senior year, yep.
Your
Yeah.
senior
They put
year.
us on the we couldn't believe that they put us on the same side of the bracket again. Like it was like, come on. Like we like all year, that's all everybody was talking about. Us against them in the state final. This is how it's gonna happen, like for sure. And it broke down just like that. But what they didn't want was they never wanted to see a beach school playing against a Richmond school in the final because Virginia, you know how that is. They got Northern Virginia, they got their people up there. They want JJ Redick in them school, Eric Hayes in them school to play against one of the other schools from back home. They're not gonna match up. They're not gonna match up a beach school and a Richmond school ever.
That's you okay. That was my fault. It was the because you just said all those regions. So y'all was the central region
Yeah, we won the
champion.
region. Yeah,
So
we won
so
a
then
district, won a
y'all play
region.
against, so y'all central and then you northern, southern. Is that how it go?
And
And
then
then y'all come and
Tidewater.
play against
Yep,
each other.
yep, yep.
Okay. So let's talk about that Oak Hill game though, because I remember it, bro. It was at VCU, right?
At the
It
Senior
was
Center.
at
Yeah.
VCU. I mean, obviously, you guys were one of the top teams in the state, but I mean, like Oak Hill, that's different, right? Like,
Come on, yeah,
what
very
do you
different.
remember about that game though, and about that just I guess leading up to that game too, because that was probably big for y'all to play Oak Hill too.
It was real big. It was actually supposed to be a part of this tournament that we used to have back home during that time, and they couldn't make it a part of the tournament. I don't know if you remember, but we played that game super late at night. We played that game at like 9 o'clock at night
Yep.
because they had a tournament that was before us, and they added that Oak Hill game onto it. That Oak Hill game was supposed to be at my high school, but it got too big. Like
Yeah.
they would say, so many too many tickets being sold. Like it just got too big. They was like, "Nah, we gotta move it." So they moved it to VCU. They weren't even supposed to be a part of it. So they tried to move. They moved all the other games up so they could play us at 9, so we could play our game at 9 o'clock. But leading up to that, man, the talk of the city. Oh my God, come on now. Like we know who coming in the building. Y'all got like 5,
Yeah.
6, 7 McDonald's All Americans. Dudes is going to the league. Like you know exactly what's going on and what's coming through the building. And not to mention, two of the dudes is from 2 hours away, an hour and a half away. So they are really gonna have people out here. KD gonna have people here. Ty Lawson gonna have people there. So it was like, you coming, you about to be McDonald's, Jamon out there. Like it was just it was a lot. It was a lot, man. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that for sure.
but that was when I was like, because people good at basketball, but then you got basketball players, but then you got hoopers, and then you got people who can do both. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm talking about? You one of those
Mm-hmm.
dudes who could do both though. You know what I'm saying? Like
You're
I
right.
was like, oh shit, he a hooper. Like you can hoop anywhere in the whole world, pick up, it don't matter. Like some people
Right.
can't do that. They need that structure. Like, but
Agreed.
then you a basketball player, like we'll talk about it later on. You went over to Europe and played, and you know how structured that is. You got to fit
And
into a
pure
system,
structure.
and it
Yeah.
might just be 9 points a game or something
Yeah.
like that. But I knew
Could
it
be.
though right away though. Like at that game, I'm like, damn, he a hooper, but he know how to play. You feel what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You be like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
he a hooper, but I don't know how to play for real though. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
That
That comes from playing with older dudes. You kind of learn that structure. I think, when you're young and you playing against guys that are around your age, it's easy for you to just go out there and just bump and just hoop and just, do whatever. That's what shows you how to become a hooper, because you could go out there and do whatever and it's all good. You start playing against the older dudes, you got to play the game differently. You
yep.
got to play smart. Or if you're the young boy that's on the court with the old dudes, you can't be going out there making mistakes. Like you got to go out there and play the game right, make shots when it's time. Don't be getting your ass buzzed on deep. Excuse me. Don't be getting fried on defense. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to do all these small
Now you
things.
can curse
So,
shit. You can do
oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah, shit, all
so
that going, all that. Yeah, you good.
so you can't really worry about. Actually, not say worry about. You can't go out there and mess it up. Like you go out there and mess it up, you might not play no more. So you got to kind of learn how to play right. But once you learn how to do both, I mean, the game kind of yours really. It's all about mentality after that.
That's 100%. Shit, I remember I was like 9 years old. I used to play at the lunchtime at the Y with the old men. Like the old men, they'll come in from their
Mm-hmm.
job and play for that hour and a
Mm-hmm.
half, 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
like you said, like
We used to do that at the Y. Same thing.
he slow as hell, but he know how to play. He gonna backdoor cut your ass. Like shit like
Right.
that. Like that's how you learn how to play at
Right.
that age. You know what I'm saying? Learning how to space the floor and shit. Like it's no, you 100% right. And I hear guys like nowadays too, like, nah, keep him in his age group. Let him
Uh,
you ain't growing. That you
nah,
ain't growing as a player. You ain't learning.
and how I feel about that is, first of all, when we was coming up, anybody that was like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", and was elite, they weren't playing with their age. They all played 17.
Right.
Like they all play, like they might play with their age, but they also went to tournaments with their 17, with the older teams. Like they played both. Like for
Right.
sure. I think nowadays they want to allow kids to play both because they can only play like a maximum amount of games and all this other type stuff. Bunch of different rules now. But if you feel as if kid is that good, it doesn't make sense to make him play with kids at his age, especially when you reclassifying kids as well. It's like, so 6'6", he elite already, and he playing with his age, and he gonna reclassify. So that means he gonna play with the 14-year-old. Let's say he 14, he gonna play with the 14-year-old again.
We
Like
ain't do
you
that
want to down like,
reclassify shit. We ain't never do that shit. I ain't even know.
nah. It was only a few people. I only know a few people that did that, and they did that. They did it like as seniors, like at the end, like when it was like
Prep
they
school.
had an office they wanted, prep school,
Right.
like that. Like they did that. Like it wasn't like they reclassifying kids now in like the 8th grade, like in the 9th grade. I'm like, you don't even know if this kid gonna want to play basketball like that in a few years. And you're not even understanding that you're holding him back right now. Holding him back. I don't know why you holding him back from playing against older dudes, because once he gets to college, everybody gonna be older than him. Like once he get to college, everybody gonna be older than him. So like now what? And then once hopefully you banking on him going to the NBA. So now when he gets to the NBA and everybody grown, how he respond to that? I don't know what you think he gonna be able to do, but it's not gonna get done. And it shows all the time with young dudes. You see young dudes trying to go to the league early who've been held back here and there, and it's like you might get there, but I'm not sure that you can stay.
and you know what too, like putting putting it out there at a young age, putting them through that type of thing at a young, like letting them feel that, it was like, oh shit,
Mm-hmm.
this is okay, this is what I got to be prepared for type shit, rather than he get to, you know, he, like you talking about, his first time going in college playing against people, you know, better than him or whatever. Now like you said, now he transferring every time. Now he trying to figure out, oh shit, this ain't, like you said, you had the ball in your hands as a freshman on varsity. Like, so you experienced that shit right away to be like, all right, shit, I gotta work on this, some shit I gotta work on or get stronger or whatever. So like that's the type of shit, like when you playing against older people, like you figure it out and you figure out what the fuck I gotta do to get better, to continue to shit forward my career. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. I agree. They have to go through some adversity, and it's better late than not.
Yeah.
It's better to go through that adversity in high school, because once you get to college, you need to get through the adversity. Like, you don't need to be trying to, leave or whatever because you haven't been through anything yet. I think that's like one of the toughest things for a lot of guys is they don't go through adversity until they get to school or until they get to the pros. And once you definitely can't, once you get ready to go through adversity as a pro, it could be over for you very, very quickly. Like, it could, like, you could go from being a guy that everybody wanted, everybody loved, 2-3 years into the league, and that's it. And like, it could really go like that. So you gotta take on the adverse situations early and when they come, and know how to act accordingly in them. But that's not always the kid's fault. So that's a
Right.
whole different story.
Yeah, especially now it's a whole bunch of different a bunch of
Yeah,
factors that come.
yeah.
Well, talk about like your recruitment coming though, like your top five college choices, and why did you end up choosing Boston College?
I had obviously BC, East Tennessee State, Ohio University, uh, Arizona came late after the Oak Hill. Actually, Arizona came after that game. Um, one more school. I'm missing one. I'm missing a school. Oh, UAB. That's what it was, UAB. So it really came down to BC and UAB for me. I wasn't sure if who was a coach at UAB at the time. It wasn't Mike Davis. It might have been. It might
Was
have been Mike Davis. It might have been Mike
it
Davis
Anderson?
actually.
Was it?
Anderson, Mike Anderson. Correct.
Yeah,
Mike Anderson.
yeah.
Correct. Mike Anderson. So he was a coach there, but they weren't sure if he was going to stay there or leave to go to Missouri. He ended up leaving and going to Missouri like a year or two into that contract, into that year, into our college years. He ended up leaving, but BC stayed with me pretty much the whole time throughout my recruitment, and they were with me even when like my SAT scores and my GPA weren't like matched. They was basically like, well, if you get your grades together, the scholarship yours. And no other schools was really like putting it out there like that. So it got me comfortable to go there, and they had a better situation. I knew they had a starting guard at senior that was a senior, and I knew that if I went out there and performed correctly, then they would give me the keys for the next 3 years, or however long I was going to decide to stay in school.
So that was big for you. Just you wanted to be able to have a chance to come in and play right away.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to go in and play. I mean, in the perfect world, I would go in there and start.
Right. But to compete, going to compete for that.
Yeah, I just want to go in there with an opportunity. Like,
right.
I know that you're gonna give me a fair shot. Like, I had like Wake Forest. I wanted to go to Wake Forest bad. Like, I remember before Wake Forest would even recruit me, I forgot to mention it. Before they were even recruiting me, my mom asked me one day, it was my senior year, she was like, you gotta start thinking about where you're gonna go to school there. Like, where you gonna go? I was like, I'm gonna go to Wake Forest. I was like, Chris Paul is about to leave, such. I'm giving like all this stuff or whatever. She like, Chris, they still playing. She was like, Chris Paul He's still in school. Like, ain't no guarantee that he gonna leave, and they ain't recruit me. I was like, yeah, but they gonna recruit me and stuff. Like, they gonna have to. Like, they don't have no. I'm looking at it like that. Like, they gonna have to offer me. Like, I've talked to him, talked to the, I had getting ready to talk to Process at the time. Right, I talked to him shortly after that. They actually came and started recruiting me like 2 weeks later. Like, really recruiting me like 2 weeks after that conversation, with my mom. But they wanted to bring in Mike Conley and Greg Oden for an official visit before me. And I had my BC visit like the next week. So the only weekend I had available was that first one. And it was like, nah, we want to bring Mike Conley and Greg Oden first. And I'm like, they juniors though. I'm like, they juniors. Like, I'm a senior. Y'all need a point guard this year. Chris Paul about to leave. Like, I don't know why y'all think he coming back, because he ain't coming back. Like, they thought that Chris Paul was gonna come back and then leave the next year. I'm like, everybody know he ain't coming back. Like, why y'all, like, then I started really paying attention. I'm like, nah, that's just an excuse. They really trying to get them, but they going about the Chris Paul thing, so they ain't gotta tell me exactly what they actually trying to do. And I fried them people ever since.
Yeah.
like one of my first ACC games, my freshman year, I think I had a 30 ball at Wake Forest. They like 8 threes or something like that. I fried them. Oh man, I couldn't stand them people for that. I hated that.
Yeah, you jumped
I'm
in.
like,
You jumped
they
in
could have
right
just been
away
honest.
freshman year and was getting to it.
Yeah, we got some opportunities, and we had some, like, the opportunity was there to have some success based off of who we had on our roster. Like, we had two dominant, like, bigs, a 4 and a 5. Dudley and Craig was two dominant bigs.
Yeah.
Like, they was dominant. So I knew I would get open shots. Like, that's when I started to learn how to play the two more and be like a catch and shoot guy. That's all I did was shoot, catch and shoot threes. And I knew my opportunity would be I knew I would have a chance to be on a court because I could shoot and because I could make plays. Like, we didn't have like a breakdown dude. Like, I was the one real like breakdown guy that could get my own shot or create for somebody else.
Who was the
So I
one
knew
that
the opportunity was there.
Who was the one?
Who was the one?
Off
Lewis
ball?
Hennett.
Say it
I
again.
used to play off the ball. Lewis Hennett was the one. So, like, I would come into the game, I would sub in, and I would play on the ball when I first came in the game, because it would be me and him on the court at the same time. And then he would go out, and then in the second half, when I would come in, he would play on the ball, and I would play off the ball. Like, so we had like a little rotation that was pretty good. That was pretty decent. So we kind of did it like that.
So I mean, I think you averaged about 9.5, 10 your freshman year, but then like after that freshman year, it was like here you go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was because 17, 21 junior year, and then you averaged 17 your senior year, but you had more assists and more rebounds that year as well. What was it like, you know what I'm saying, from freshman to those, to that sophomore year? Was it something in the summertime that somebody said, or what was it that really propelled you to go ahead and do that?
It was just the opportunity, knowing what the opportunity was in front and having the confidence to go out there and be like, hey, look, this the time. The coaches, they put it in me like, hey, look, you're gonna be the number 2 option pretty much. And your opportunities are going to be there for you to, take on this new role as a leader, on the team. So I kind of had to change my approach. I had to be a little bit more focused. I had to go out there and study a little bit more film. I had to be in better shape. I had to be able to shoot the ball better. So, like, I really just approached the game like, all right, this is my time. Like, it's like a make or break for me right now because this is the opportunity that I've been waiting on. So, it was just about going in there prepared and being ready for it to come my way.
What do you think your best moment in a Boston College jersey was? And I seen a couple of guys. I know you have 46 from Carolina, but I guess it doesn't have to be scoring. Just your best moment. Could be either team wise or personal.
Probably beating Duke. Probably beating Duke because we only beat Duke once. And when I was in school, like we could not beat Duke. We always played them well. We always had big games against us. Like they never like blew us out. Like it was always like a good game, but we couldn't beat them. And my senior year, we beat them at home, and that was like a crazy moment. You know, they stormed the floor and all of that. So it was super dope to go through that and actually experience that because I was on one team that just had our number. Like could not beat Duke.
Who was on that team, that Duke team?
Paulus Shire, Gerald Henderson.
Paul is from
What's
Syracuse.
the big boy? Yeah. What's the big man? McRoberts.
Okay.
Lance Thomas, Nolan.
Nolan tough.
Who else? Singler.
Okay.
They had the big white dude, 7 feet. Can't think of his name. No, it's like Zubac or something like that.
Zubac. Oh, okay. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Brian Zubac.
Something like that. I think his last name for sure is Zubac, I believe. But yeah, big dude, big dude. They had them. I can't remember who else they had, but maybe one other guy. But they had a nice squad though. They were solid.
That was probably be their best moment, you think, at BC?
Yeah. That was probably the best moment beating them just because, we never beat them. Like that was the only time we beat them. For whatever reason, we could not beat Duke. Like it was crazy.
Shit, Duke usually tough as hell.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
And their style of play hard to beat. Like they don't beat themselves in games. Like you really gotta beat them. Like they're gonna make big shots. They're gonna be in situations. They hit shots. Coach K gonna bring something out of them at some point in the game where they just gonna start playing harder, smarter, like everything. So, it's you really see the different levels when you start talking about, Coach K and Duke.
Yeah, the other team playing Duke usually has little margin for error. You know what I'm saying? Because
very small.
Shit right away.
Very small. They used to go on them crazy runs that were real quick, like a quick 9-0, 10-0, 13-0 run, the game over. Like they was already up by 4, and they done went on a 13-0 run in 4 minutes. Next TV timeout, you down 17. It's a done deal. It's a done deal. So yeah, like that was tough. That's how y'all were though. Y'all were the same way in college though. Once that dome started rocking in there, it wasn't a lot. And y'all was playing zone, so y'all just standing back. Y'all standing back. People would miss. Somebody missed 3, 4, 5 shots in a row. Oh, you can forget it, man. You on a break, Johnny coming down the zone. You one wing, Rouse the other wing. Like, come on, man. There's a lot going on out there. There's a lot going on out there.
And that motherfucking zone has some damn athletes in that shit. Cause I don't care.
Some athletes in that zone.
You gotta be able to
West,
move.
Dante,
flipping that thing around the perimeter now.
Yeah.
Back out. You gotta be able to.
But y'all was so tall and so long and so active in the zone. Even though they whipping it around, it's still hard to get shots off. Like you moving the ball fast, but you can't you raise up to shoot. That's a 6'9" with a 7'3" jumping at you. Like that ain't no as open as you might be for that split second. You still got to get it off. Like it ain't that's not an easy shot at all. So that zone used to look so tough to play against.
And a lot of times you see we you passing the ball somewhere, but that's kind of like where we want you to throw it to.
It's throw it over there because you can't do nothing over there.
Ways how to shade, you know what I mean, and get it there. Okay, that's our best defender. He gonna get there. It don't matter what you know what I'm saying. So it's a lot of different intricacies to the zone. You feel what I'm saying?
I could tell. Man, that first couple of days of the TBT where y'all was trying to tell,
it's like, nah, scrap that.
I'm like, hey, bro, we gotta play man, bro. Like, look, I hear you. We're not winning with this fucking zone. I can tell you that right now.
You can't.
Not in this.
I can't. Not professional ball.
No, sir.
You just can't. You can't do it, bro.
You can't do it.
I mean, we tried to do it the previous years and we got far, but it's just dude, once you get to a certain Final Four,
You
whatever.
start messing around with a certain amount of guys that can hit shots,
Facts.
they're gonna shoot you right out their zone.
And they know how to play.
Yeah.
They know how to play. So
Yeah.
you had a unbelievable career at Boston College, a legendary career. And then you start your journey overseas. You signed in Greece, but to kind of talk about your whole journey, because you had like probably one of the greatest, a career for American overseas in Europe. Multiple championships, EuroLeague titles, MVPs. Played on some of the best teams over there. So, talk about that step one though, like when you first got over there and how you had to build up from that.
Man, I was on a team that was EuroLeague the year before. My first year, Pantheon, they were EuroLeague the year before I got there. They were supposed to be Euro Cup the year that I got there. They had like this like crazy money thing happen, lost a lot of bread, couldn't play in Europe competition. I think we lost a couple players, a couple dudes left. They was like, nah, we ain't playing just one game a week, all of that. So they changed the gym that we were supposed to play in. So you go from playing college ball, all these arenas is like state of the art, really. Like a bunch of state of the art arenas, everything nice. You go over there, walk in the locker room for the first day. That joint look like the YMCA. Like my middle school joint, I ain't playing, like I ain't even lying to you. Like the locker room like the size of the locker room like the size of my office, maybe like a little bit bigger. Like with a bench right there, we all right beside each other. I'm watching my practice uniforms. Like it's like this shit is like I'm like no Wi-Fi in the crib, no dryer, can't communicate with nobody, no hot water. Like it's a grind. Like to go through that, you're not getting paid. Mind you, all of this going on, you're not getting paid first year. I never thought I would go to Europe again. I was like, oh no, I ain't going back. Like whatever you gotta do to get me in the league, get me there. But I did not want to play in the G League. I was like, I would not play in the G League.
Yeah.
I ain't doing it. I ain't playing the G League. Then people was making like $6,000 a season at the time. At that time,
it was still,
like the max. The max was like 13.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Fuck.
The max was like 13 bands. Come on, bro. Ain't no way. Don't even disrespect me. I told my agent I would fire him. You try to send me D-League team, I'm fire you. I got a kid, bro. You know that. Don't stop. Like don't even play with me like that. Like that would be crazy. But yeah, that first year was crazy. Never thought I would go back.
But what about on the court though? Like for you on the court, how was it?
It was an adjustment. It was an adjustment, but I started it up as the games went on and on because I was in another situation where the opportunity was like they were gonna allow me to play. They were gonna allow me to make mistakes, which isn't common, especially in a league like that. Like Greek league at that time, it was like Spanish league, Greek league. It was a 1A, 1B. Like it wasn't no drop off. Like Spanish league had 4 or 5 EuroLeague teams. Greek league had 4 or 5 EuroLeague teams. Spanish had 4 or 5 Euro Cup teams. Greek league had 4 or 5 Euro Cup teams. Somebody making $2 million over there, it's about 4 or 5 people making $2 million over here. Like it was the same. Like it was, the way of living was the same. Like all of that. But to be able to go there and learn and play a totally different basketball game than I ever played in my life, and being able to adjust to it and still learn how to incorporate my game into that, like was very, very difficult. Like very difficult because now you have to, your opportunities are minimized. Like maybe you had 20 to 25 scoring opportunities in college, you might have like 10 to 12 as a pro. Like it's totally different before you like if you're not like the guy, like you the guy, you probably got 20 opportunities to go and score the basketball regardless of where you at. But when you're not the guy and you're trying to earn the respect of you know of your peers and being an American, a young one, the youngest, I'm the second youngest dude on the team or third youngest dude on the team. So like even being that and being a starting point guard, like it's a lot to learn. And I was lucky to have like some really good teammates that brought me along and really like fast tracked it for me. Like I played with some really good guys that looked out for me, and a really good coach looked out for me too.
So talk about that rise of for your first year. Talk about not having the hot water, having to clean your own practice jersey, all that, to go and playing with, you play with teams, shit, Maccabi Tel Aviv. You won the EuroLeague championship there. You played in Barcelona. You played in Russia. Like those are all top teams in Europe. So what was it like being able to play with those, those top level teams?
It make you respect where you came from. And it make you respect where you came from and make you understand that what you have done or what you've been doing is starting to pay off in a situation where, in a circumstance where you got from not having not hot water or none of that to a crib that's, I don't know, on a yacht, little boathouse like that. Like, like it's like all types of stuff. Like, it's like anything. So you kind of respect where you came from and you respect the grind it really takes, and you will start to appreciate basketball and what it takes to be a certain type of player even more. So like when you see other guys that went through that grind and they got to a certain point, it's like, I respect that because I know where he came from. Like I understand exactly where he came from. I see what he had to do and what he had to go through to make it happen.
Who would you say the hardest dude? Before I say this, and this is how Americans is. Like a lot of Americans go overseas and be like, man, these dudes trash, right? Like this is that's just like the American mindset because
it is
the dominant basketball, whatever. But when you get into playing that type of level that you was on EuroLeague, like those are NBA, that's NBA players.
Oh, no doubt. Like no doubt about it. Even before you get to that, it's pros. NBA
right.
players.
Exactly. So who was the hardest guy you had to guard over there? Hardest guy you had to play against?
I guess it's got to be between Nando DeColo and Teodosic. And what's crazy is they were the starting backcourt on the team, Cheska, when I was in Russia. It used to be us against them in all the finals. But Teodosic, I've been playing against him since my first year. He was in Olympiacos in Greece my first year. But playing against him in a Europe game, like I never played against anybody that could pass the ball like that. He could pass the ball like that and he could shoot it crazy, and he had the mentality. Like he knew when to take over a game. He knew when to pull back. He could get flashy on you, throw some wild passes, like whatever. Like his just feel for the game. I learned a lot from playing against him about feeling for the game, like about seeing things before it happened, about reading plays, about understanding, small places where you could take advantage of something. Like I watched him do this and took some stuff from him based off of that. But he was very tough in DeColo. DeColo's so tough because he don't miss. Like I never played against somebody. That man been 50, 40, 90 and for 8 years straight in EuroLeague. Like he just super efficient. 20 points, 4 or 5 rebounds, 4 or 5 assists, shoot 58% from the field, 46% from three, 95% from the free throw line. And it's just every single year. Like he's by far the most consistent player I've ever seen in Europe. I've never seen anybody do this like he does. So he was very, very tough to guard. And he big, 6'5" guard, good size. He probably 210, something like that. Smart, crafty, know how to draw fouls, can finish everything, don't miss any pull-up jumpers, like things like that. Like it's just small things that make those two guys very, very tough.
is that, and I was gonna say, what did you really learn? But was, hearing you talk about that, was that kind of really when you went from, well, I guess you probably in college you learned the game you knew, but really went from like hooper to like basketball player, and then combined the two of them. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I think my third year when I was in Lithuania, I had a coach. His name, last name Jikic, Alexander Jikic. Um, he used to coach. He used to be an assistant for the Timberwolves before he went to Regis, before he coached me, and he taught me how to read the game, like really read the game. Like, nah, like look, watch this right here. He turned his head right here in these situations. You can drive right there to the basket right here. Like, look, when they go on this play, he gonna go and set a cross screen. If he don't look, that's an isolation situation for you. Bring the ball down the court fast, get to the 3-point line, see what's going on first. Maybe you get to the basket. Like he started making me think about the game just totally different. He was like, play the pick and roll at the same time 5 times in a row and then go opposite. Like just start like he taught me how to like cat and mouse situations and be able to see things before it happened. Like I said, I played against Teodosic early. So I started to watch him. And I had like my second year, I had film on like him, Sergio Rodriguez, Sergio Yule, Shardis. I don't know if you remember Shardis. Shardis went to Maryland. He played
Yeah.
for University. He went to Maryland, played for the Indiana Pacers. Um, Diamantidis, Panudas. Like I had film of all of these dudes. All I would do was watch them, like watch films of them. I wanted to understand how they could make some of the passes they were making and how they were setting it up. I was like, now don't just show me the clips. Show me the 2 plays before that. The 2 times they ran that same play and he made that pass. Show me what he did before that. And like that's how I started to learn about dudes seeing things before it happened. Because it's like if I do this 2, 3 times, he gonna understand like, oh, this is just what he doing now. When I tell my man, it's like, look, I'm gonna throw it to you on this one. Like, just be paying attention. I'm just gonna throw it. And like now they know, like just reading the game like that. I think how to really he taught me how to really understand what I was watching and pick up on like the small things. So I think like my third year is when I was able to, okay, I could play my game and I can still be, I can play their game and still be me, and make those two things coexist.
And it's crazy because we, as American players, dudes get away for a while with being faster and more stronger and more athletic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Till they get older and then they ain't got all that no more. Now you got to really
Mm-hmm.
think the game. That's how guys like you talking about are able to come over here with not being super athletic, super fast.
Oh, they don't need it.
Doncic ain't super athletic, super fast at all. He tactical in the motherfucker. He playing the game within the game. Like those
Man, Doncic,
are ahead of us in that, as far as that goes.
man, Doncic, Luka is an exception to everything that you ever think about when you think about a European player. Like, I mean, I can't even really put into perspective. Luka was 17 and he was the star for Real Madrid. That would never happen again. I don't even think people understand what's going on. Like he won the EuroLeague MVP, the Final Four MVP, the Spanish League MVP, the Spanish League Final Four MVP, the European Championship MVP as a 17 turning 18-year-old. Like that will never happen again. I'm telling you, it's not gonna happen. Like, like there's no 17-year-old on earth right now that could go start for Real Madrid and do that. None. None. Braun would have been the only 17-year-old that probably could have gone over there and done that. Literally. I'm talking like Kobe couldn't have did it. Mike couldn't have did it. Like none of these people could have done this except for LeBron. I think Braun would have been okay. Just because he was so smart. Like he played the game. He was so athletic and so dynamic and being that smart.
Yeah.
Like he would have been okay. But they the only ones. That would have did what Luka did. Like not like there's others that would have had success, but not that kind of success. Not at 17 years old. No way. KD wouldn't have had that success at 17 years old. No, sir.
He was because 17, shit. Well, I think he was six. Nah, he wasn't. Nah, my
It
man
don't
was
matter. He would have been a scorer, but
right, but
no,
he
he
ain't.
can't. He would no. He wouldn't have been able to do that. They would have got up under him, bumped him all day. No, he wouldn't have done that. Not what Luka was doing. Luka was like 26-6 as a 17-year-old. Like that is insane. Like 6'7", 225, playing a point, 17 years old. What? Nah. I was like, he should be the number one pick. I thought that at 15. I played my first time playing against Luka, he was 15. He started against us in a scrimmage game because usually all Real Madrid players play on a national team, so they're not there in the summer when you first get there. They always let them sit out a little bit before they come and play. And so they started Luka against us in the preseason game. And they was like, yeah, this kid, he's 15. I'm like, 15? The fuck? Yeah, like nah, for real. I'm like, he's 6'6". He like 200 pounds. He playing a point. They started. He 15. All right. I'm out there on the court with him, and I'm like, nah, this is an NBA basketball player. Like he's 15. Like he's just making reads, just the reads. Like he's seeing stuff. He come out the pick right, flinging it back to the corner, across the court. I'm like, oh nah, that's enough. That's enough. That's all I do is pick and roll and throw it from the right 45 to the corner. One hand fling joint like that. That's enough. I don't really need to see much else after that because 95% of professional players can't make that pass. They can't do it. Like you can't come off a pick and roll and set that up so that you can fling that pass straight there and get it there. It's too much involved. It's too much that comes before that for you to be able to make that pass. That's not a pass you can just come off the first time and throw it. It's not gonna be open. You're not gonna get it there. You got to set that up in order to even get that pass there.
Yeah, he reading that bottom line for sure, like a motherfucker.
Man, nah, he's an exception. But like to kind of scale it back, a guy like Forkmas for Philadelphia, the wing. Yeah. He ain't crazy athletic. He can't dribble the basketball. He can shoot, and he's smart, and he move the ball. And he try hard playing defense. Like, that's what he does. Like, he's not individually better than probably, I don't know, 85, 90% of them dudes. But he know how to play the game. He know how to play. He know how to stay on the court. He know to make shots. He don't mess nothing up. He don't force nothing. He play right. Like, it's like small things like that you learn over there. Like, that's why I'm like, when dudes want to go to the league early, I'm like, you need to go play over there. Go play over there for a year or two and then go to the league.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to really learn how to play. So then when you get ready to come back, it's fairly easy. I'm going to say it's easy. It's not easy, but you have more understanding about how to play the game, what you need to do to stay on the floor, making shots, like, because you have to make shots over there. If you can't make shots, then you're not going to exist. Like, you can't stay on the court. Yeah, you got to be able to hit shots. And that game is going to teach you that. It's going to make you focus more on, things like that, like being more efficient, like you just said.
Yeah, now like you ain't playing as reckless. You make because your opportunities is cut short. I might not make that pass that I would have made before. You know what I'm saying? I might not get that look that I really gotta be precise with with all my looks, whether it be passes or to the rim with it.
And be ready to finish them when you get them.
Yeah.
Like when that opportunity is there, you got to finish it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not going to be a whole lot of them. Like, you got to take advantage of them opportunities. Like I said, your scoring opportunities are going to diminish. Like, if you had 35 opportunities in college, you got 20 as a pro, and that's if you're the guy. If you ain't the guy, you probably got about 12, 13. So you gotta know when to finish them. And then you can't always finish them. Like, you might be an opportunity where you could go and finish, but it's a better one right there. You got to throw that better one. Yeah, because if you don't, you're never going to get the better one. I'm telling you right now, if they know that you're not gonna throw extra passes, they will never throw you an extra pass. And then you gotta remember where you are. You over there. They at home. You're not at home. So when they complain, it's different from when you complain, like about certain things like that. So it just kind of, I mean, that's just basketball stuff anyway. Like I mean, you saw me in the TBT. I'm like, oh, throw the extra, like throw the extra, because if you don't throw the extra now, you're not gonna throw it in the game, and he's not gonna throw it to you in the game, and now you're gonna be mad. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like things like that.
Fucking up his trust.
Yeah, you gotta throw like you. Everybody gotta feel involved. Everybody gotta know that you playing right, and that's why them Europe dudes have success in the league, because everybody know that they're gonna play right. Like everybody knows it. Like every European player plays right. They are aggressive. They all aggressive. They all take shots. They're not afraid to shoot, but they play the game the right way. When it's time to throw extra pass, they don't hesitate. You know, and if you say something to them about them missing that extra pass, they won't miss it again. You know what I'm saying? Like those are like the little things that you learn from playing over there.
And for the young fellas that's going to listen, that's how you get longevity in your career. Those little details, you know what I'm saying? That's how you going to stick on a team. They like you. I know he going to make the extra pass. I like that American. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, they'll get an American out of there quick. Oh, he ain't coming in cocky. He the man. He could be talented.
No doubt.
We're going to get him up out of there.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You have to play the game the right way. You got to understand where you are, because different different countries are gonna call for you to play the game different. Y'all all gonna play the game different. You know, like Greek league is more methodical. Spanish league is more passing, flashy, running. German league is more for the Americans to get busy. French league is up and down, no defense, just get it in. Stats gonna be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you gotta understand different dynamics and where you're going and what they're gonna expect from when you go out there and play. Because some dudes, they go to Greece thinking they think they can go and take 20 and 25 shots and think it's gonna be cool. Nah, bro, they're gonna cut you. Like they're gonna be like, you not really playing for the team. Or you go to Spanish league doing that, not going out there and passing and all that. They gonna get rid of you. So you gotta understand where you are and what they want as a country. Like what looks good to them, what's appealing to them. You gotta watch these European Championship games, because how they play in that's how they play in that country. Like people don't even you gotta understand what you're looking at. Like you're looking at exactly how they play in that country when you watch Greece play against Spain. You watching the Greek league against the Spanish league. And this is exactly what these teams hold their models behind.
I want to transition, bro. We'll talk about TBT. Those 3 weeks that you spent with Boeheim's Army. Kind of take me through, I guess, the beginning stages. Like how did it happen? How you got connected with Boeheim's Army to play, and then just those whole 3 weeks, bro. Coming to Cuse, going through the practices, doing all that, and then take me game by game in the locker room, because I was listening to your podcast, to your snippet that you had posted on social media, and you just talked about we could have had a 30 for 30 on it, just with all the things that we had going on. You know what I mean? Just kind of run me through the whole 3 weeks, bro.
Man, getting there was crazy. Obviously, I was committed to another team. I had verbally told them that I was gonna play Team Challenge ALS, my man Sean Marshall over there. And I had to make a change. It just came to a point where I had to, I couldn't keep turning it down. I had to step into a situation that I thought was a little bit better, and that I thought we really had a chance to go out there and win it. And once we got there, obviously we talked a bunch. You played a big part in me coming. Honestly, with the comfort you put me in, as far as giving that confidence off, like, hey, look, you gonna come and you gotta lead the way type of thing. And that made it easier. That made it easier to come in and just kind of be me, and kind of, challenge guys and like all of that, throughout the entire 3 weeks. Um, like coming out there and spending that time with you, going to the gym, going to Coach Boeheim's house and getting shots up in the rain, fucking shoes up, what I'm saying, like in the rain, so all of that, kicking it, going to get food, all those little small things, meeting with Sean, everything, man, getting with the guys and figuring this thing out and seeing how much we had in common so early was, very important. We had a lot of like-minded dudes. We had a lot of dudes with big personalities. And it was good because we had dudes with big personalities, but we also had dudes who was willing to do whatever for the team. And like, that's what, I wanted to preach and reiterate so much. Like, hey, look, we all gonna have a moment. We all gonna have a time where the light gonna be on us. It's gonna be a situation in every game where you gonna hit 2 or 3 shots that was big in a moment. CJ gonna get a couple post-ups that was big in a moment where we needed it. Drew didn't play for a few games. He come in in the Florida joint, hit a couple of threes, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's gonna have a moment within this tournament that's like, hey, if you ain't do that, we might not have made it out of this joint. Like, so we had to be understanding of that. And we had to be accepting of whatever the role was going to be for that particular game, like particular day, like whatever it was going to be. Like, it might be a day where you play 25, you get whatever shot you want and everything cool, but then it might be a day where you play 25 and you shoot that shit 3-4 times. Like, or you don't play.
Yeah.
Or you don't really play. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was that a lot of times all throughout the tournament. But, like I kept saying to you, like you heard me say this a lot. I was like, look, I said it to the guys a lot as well. I was like, if we play 6 ugly games, we're going to win all 6 ugly games. You know why we're going to win it? Because when it all boils down, we just going to knuckle up and be like, fuck it, we got to win the game. Regardless of what was going on in the game, like regardless of how anybody felt, if it came down to the end, we knew that we would be able to play right and go and figure that shit out. And I think that that's what happened literally in every single game all the way through. Like, we just figured it out and boom, we went on our runs, close the game. Beef and bullshitting, boom, went on our run, close the game. Every single game went the same way. Like, really, like every single game went the same way. And, I'm having conversation with my peoples, after they like, oh, that game was ugly, this, and this turnover. I was like, y'all gotta understand something. None of us play together. Nobody in this whole tournament. None of us play together. Like, we're literally figuring shit out as we go. I was like, but what's gonna get us over the top is we got closers and we got dudes who just gonna be like, fuck it. I gotta stop this nigga in front of me.
Yeah, dog.
Like, I can't let him score. Like, I can't let him score. Like, it is what it is. We can't let him score. And we got to go figure out how we're going to score. And we was willing to do whatever it took to get to that point and to get over that hump, whenever it came. So, I had a whole lot of confidence. I ain't give a fuck about playing an ugly game. I never got nervous in none of the games. I got nervous. I'm lying. I got nervous one time. I'm lying. But what's crazy is the one time I got nervous was right before Keith hit the shot. It was the play before.
Yeah, my man came on.
That's the only time I got nervous the entire turn. Like, I was not nervous. Like, I didn't get nervous in no situation. Like, that was it right there. Like, that one moment, I was like, damn, we just did all this. Is going to come down to a 17-foot jumper. And he wide open.
Wide the fuck open, yo.
I'm looking at that shit, bro. I'm looking at the ball from the other side of the basket. I'm like damn near defeated. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I'm like, damn, it's over. Like, he open. Like, I'm like, he wide open. There's no way he missed this. They done missed 2 shots already. Now they get a wide open joint. There's no way he missed this. Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, that's what I was thinking. He missed it. I don't know if you see the video. He missed it. I didn't move. Like, I was like, oh shit, he missed it. We got the ball, and then I was like, oh, to get down the court. Like it really had me like I really was stuck. Like I was like, nah, he really missed that shit. And then my mind went to, we got to shoot a three. That's all I was thinking. Like we got to shoot a three. I don't know who's gonna shoot this shit, but I was like, we have to shoot a three. And I'm glad that Keith had three on his mind because I damn sure had three on mine. I was like, if I get this ball, I gotta find somebody that's on me. I gotta put somebody on me so I can shoot a three because we gotta shoot a three right now because there's no way we're gonna win this game. Like if we gotta go back down there again, we're probably gonna lose because we ain't gonna stop them again. We're gonna foul. Like something's gonna happen at this point. Like they need 1 point. Like this is like it's done. Like we gotta score right now. So, you know, to see Brody pull up and hit that was crazy. Like the emotion that went, the shock first that went through my body was like, oh shit, he hit it. And then it was like, damn, he hit that motherfucker. Like it was like he hit it, but then it was like a second, he really hit that bitch. It's up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then the reaction, totally different after that. So, that was wild. But yeah, man, those situations in between that, like all the beefing, the locker room beefing, on the court beefing, hotel beefing, like all these things people.
It was real full blown getting at each other type
full
shit.
blown beefing though. Like like I ain't talking like people was like, oh, just arguing. I'm like, nah,
getting at it.
Nah, I'm talking like rumbling.
Yeah.
Like this close to rumbling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like every situation was like either a fight or I'm talking damn near a fight during the game, in the game, after the game. It did like I'm like,
no, but
look,
tell me if I'm wrong, bro. And I say this all the time, like, but that's the type of dudes we had and how much it really meant to motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it meant.
Like great teams have to have those type of dudes. Like you in practice, you gonna get into motherfucker. We competing hard as hell. Like, and it's a type of pride. So like that's why you had and so like three things that for me that really won us the shit. Obviously, defensive rebound. We crush everybody on
rebound the shit on the ball. Yeah, we rebound the shit on the ball.
Defensively, we was locking the fuck up too, especially when we had to. We had dogs, but then the biggest one for me, like what you said earlier, it was sacrifice, bro. Sacrifice, bro, because like, and I ain't gonna lie, so because this was my 7th year playing, and for me, like, I always like had to do majority of the scoring and playmaking. You know what I'm saying? So at first, it's different when you're going through it. So I ain't gonna lie to you, and I'm an honest dude. I'm gonna keep it 100. Like I'm like, damn, dog. Not playing at first like that, I'm like, damn, like it fucked with it hit my ego one time. You feel what I'm saying? But what really helped me was you and Kiefer, like you said, like, yo, E, like, I had to shake back real quick, like, nah, this for we trying to get some bread right here. Like you ain't getting bread. You didn't score 20 points a game and motherfucker went home with $0 in your pocket. You actually lost money, motherfucker. Being at this, so like sacrifice, bro. When I always look back at it, bro, and like and I think with those 3 weeks, you kind of like figured out how I am as a person. Just a super like competitive, emotional dude, and like I wear it on my sleeve. But
I already knew that. I knew that from back then.
Yeah, sacrifice, bro. Like it like that was like it really was like, damn, bro. Like in my head, like and I knew it, but like at that point, like I'm about to be 35. I'm like, yo, this is really what like great teams do. You feel what I'm saying? Like DJ Kennedy was the
truly great team,
the number one rebounder and number one scorer in the tournament in history, maybe averaged like 6. You know what I'm saying? Like and I was second all time, and I might have played 6-7 minutes a game type shit. But like that's when I was like, when we won that shit, I'm like, yo, bro, like in my head, I'm like, and I'm thanking you in my head, I'm thanking Kiefer, because they was like, yo, bro, this is what great teams go through and have to, and how this shit happens. Like motherfuckers gotta like sacrifice shit, and that's in life shit too. Like whether it's like I gotta, man, you my man, but I gotta fall back. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm on this some bigger shit like that. Yo, bro, that I was really like, I was vulnerable at that time. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all brought me back to like figure that shit. Like that's That's what that shit is about. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like that sacrifice, bro.
yeah. In the end, that's all that matters. You know, like we all going to war together. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like we all trying to achieve a common goal together. You know what I'm saying? Like when they bring out that championship trophy, it ain't got my name on it. It ain't got your name on it. It ain't got Keith's name on it. None of that shit. It's got everybody's shit on there. And we all wear that same jersey. And understanding that, like I said before, everybody gonna have a moment. Like, let's think about like in real life, like a lot of dudes, they don't want to get behind something because they want to be in the front so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you got behind that and push that, your time to be in the front for something is gonna come. It might not be for that. Like that might not be your time to be in the front. You might have to go through that part to get into put yourself in another position of understanding. And then you branch off and that's your time to be in the front. And now that person is behind you and they pushing what you're doing. Like everybody got their moment. Everybody got their situation where it's time for you to be the man. You just have to understand that when it's not your moment, you got to pull back and be like, all right, I'm gonna follow the lead on this. And like that's like we've all been there. Like I've been there multiple times. I want to chip off of that. I had to fall back and start figuring out what the fuck I got to do to stay on the court. And everything started working out. Everybody was like, "Oh, Maccabi, this great year. You want MVP? It is that. You know all that shit." I'm like, "Yeah." In the end, that's not how that shit was going. That's not how that shit went. You know, I really had to really sit back and look in the mirror, like, yo, like, are you really doing everything for the team, or you doing everything for yourself? Which one you doing? Because you can only win one way. One way is only one way for you to win. It's only one way for you to truly get everything you want. You truly get everything you want when you win. You see, at the end, we all get the same check at the very end. That's all that matters. I don't give a fuck who scored 20, who didn't score at all. Nigga, we got the same shit. And that's all that matters. That's what I was always trying to reiterate and preach the entire time. It's like, look, we walking out of here with the same shit. I don't care who got what. I ain't getting no extra $20,000 for winning MVP. I didn't give a fuck about that. I cared about winning and making sure that we all walked home with some bread. That's what the fuck mattered. Like, and that's what does matter when it comes to winning championships. Because when you win a championship, let's give you the Maccabi example. You win a championship. I went to Russia. I signed the second largest deal of my life. Just to be honest. Rick went to Turkey, signed the biggest deal of his life. Joe Ingles went to the league, played for Utah. 5 years later, he signed the biggest deal of his life. Joe Black went to Cleveland, got to coach Braun. That's the biggest deal of his life. Like everybody gets what they want.
Yeah.
Everybody gets what they want when you win, no matter what the situation is. Joe wasn't playing. Joe barely played the last half of the season. Barely. Went to the league, starting the wing, all of that. Like you still get what you want because people know that you can play basketball already. You wouldn't be out there. They know you can play, but now they getting to see another side of you. They getting to see another side of, oh, he willing to sacrifice too. So I know he can play. So I know if we give him the ball, he will go out there and play. But I also know that he gonna sacrifice as well. That now you get yourself in a situation where it's time for you to be the man. My next situation after Maccabi, that was my time to be the man. Like that was it. It was like, oh, we just watched you be a really good teammate, do whatever it takes, play D, take on the best role, take on the best player, score when the team needs you to, step back when the team needs you to. All right, here you go, here go the ball. Go do your thing now. And like that's what it was for me. That's the same thing I was talking about when I said it might be time for you to be behind somebody and you got to go behind them. And that might create the time for you to be the man. Now they got to come behind you. Like it's all revolving. It's all comes from understanding. It all comes from being willing to sacrifice, but being willing to sacrifice from the right place, not just doing it because they make you do it. Do it because you really feel like it's the right thing to do. And as you approach it after that, you approach it in a good space, with a good heart, with good intentions. And whatever you want is going to come back from that because you consistently learning and you consistently going through your experiences and you growing. And it makes you see everything bigger. Like you start understanding everything bigger. It's like, oh well, shit, maybe this shit ain't about me. Maybe it is about the team because we won the chip. I was making, I don't know, I'm just $100. I was making $100 this year, but shit, we won the chip. I make $700 now. It really be it's like that type of thing. So sitting back and understanding the sacrifice and understanding what it takes as an individual is hard, especially when you've been the one for so long. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it makes sense. Like you've been a guy since you was 12, 13 years old. Who like ain't nobody ever told you to take a backseat to nobody else. Like, why am I doing that? So instead of you seeking out ways in order for you to max out in the situations, you're trying to figure out why you're not in the situation. Two different thought processes.
Yeah, that's real shit. Off the court, on the court type shit. That I ain't gonna lie. That
It
3
all
weeks.
go hand in hand.
Yeah, 100%, bro. That 3 weeks, and like that's like the most I learned a lot about myself as a person, dog. You know what I'm saying? Because me like playing for Boeheim those recent years, I was usually like that voice of reason type guy. You feel what I'm saying? But now like I needed that for myself. You feel what I'm saying? Like for from somebody else, from like from you, it keep like I needed that, bro. And like those 3 weeks, like for me, it helped me with ball, but it helped me with life, bro. Like you said, the sacrifice part, like it's gonna help me with helping me with running my business or helping me with build relationships when we in the meeting, knowing when he need to speak and when I need to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like little stuff like that, being able to sacrifice the floor for a second for your guy to put him on or something. You know what I'm saying? Like and man, I think it was just, I don't know, man. It was something about that team and those four guys. You know, you included those four guys that came from outside of that Syracuse program. It was just kind of like meant to be, bro. Because even though you guys weren't there, like the personalities fit. You feel what I'm saying? Like the personalities fit together, and yo, that those 3 weeks of my life, I'll never forget, bro. That was some of the funnest,
That was special.
anxiety moment. You know what I'm saying? You know,
For real though.
Black, my guy, me and Black about to scrap off of, you know, me.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? So like, oh man, what a whirlwind of emotions through that. I think I hit every single emotion, you know what I mean, that you could hit during those.
Yeah.
It was special,
And it
dog.
be like that when it usually I'm trying to figure out how I want to break this down. Usually when you're about to overcome something, you go through every emotion because you get to that point where you're trying to knock that wall down and it's like, oh, I'm here now. Like it's gonna be bumps in the road, it's gonna be adversity, it's gonna be crying, it's gonna be mad, it's gonna be happy, it's gonna be sad, it's gonna be everything right here. But as soon as you get on the other side, the relief is like a weight just taken off you. Like all the sweat just went up off you, everything that was heavy just went up off you, and you feel good. Like that's how you feel when it comes to like breaking down barriers and shit like that. Because now you reaching into yourself and you starting to do things that you never thought that you could do. And it's not because of fear, like you was scared to do it. Like, oh, I'm scared of that. Like, nah, it's fear of not knowing what's gonna happen on the other side. Like you thinking about, let's say you, for example, you thinking about what's going on and maybe not playing as much, and now you like lashing out to everybody else, or like you upset or you crying or whatever, and then you start to pick it back up because you don't know what's gonna happen yet. That's fear. Like that's a fear that you got. Like that's like a damn, like I don't know how this shit gonna go. Like they ain't playing me. What if he don't play me and we lose?
Facts. That's a damn. You hit that shit on the motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying? Like what if he don't play me? And like so, like it's a build up because it's right in front of you and you at the wall. But it's like we winning, but if we don't win one of these games, like it's over. Like this is, you know, like it's a high and low in emotion. Like that's the same thing that we go through as people. That's the same thing that we go through when it comes time to get through a fear. or to have to do something that you've never really done before. Like you never had to sacrifice like that before. Like you never was in a situation where it was like, oh, maybe they know what they talking about. Maybe I gotta sit back on this. It's different when you've never been in that situation. It's a fear. It ain't no fear. It's not a fear. No, like, oh, I'm scared of you. Fear. It's a fear. Like what? Like what? So what's gonna happen? You don't know. Everybody's scared of what they don't know. Like everybody has a fear of what they don't know. But once you get through it, it's something totally different. That's why. That's why what you saying, you having a conversation saying that you learn so much. It's understood because you just went through something that you never thought that you was going to go through, and you got through it, and that shit was actually, it was all good on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like you like like you
It was
didn't know,
really all
like, you know what I'm
good
saying?
shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you didn't know, so it makes sense. And like the reason why I was always calm in the situation, not always, but the reason why I became calm in the situation because I went through it. Like, so I understood. That's why when I had a conversation with you, I'm like, bro, I get it. I understand everything you're saying right now. Trust me. Like, don't nobody understand you in here more than me. I was in the exact situation where I would play 27 minutes one game and then play 3 the next. I might have 16, 7, and 5 one game and then have 6, 2, and 2 in 7 minutes. What I'm gonna do? Like what I'm gonna do is still dudes on the court. They still need to see. They need to still feel your energy because regardless, your energy is infectious, and they gonna get something from that. Like if they see you over there and they know you in it, and you telling them like, "Let's go," like come on, like I'm not in the game. That's cool, but you in, so you need to be doing the best thing possible, playing as hard as possible. And if I ain't gonna play, I'm gonna push you to get to that. You know what I'm saying? Like so that's how you start to look at it because, again, like you were saying before, it's a common goal for one. And for two, you going through something. It's like you've been through it. Like the next time if it's like that, oh, you're gonna be so relaxed. Like
Right.
you're gonna be so relaxed. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, and not just that, but like any situation that creates some kind of adversity or some kind of fear in you, you're gonna be relaxed going through it. You can be afraid of what's gonna be on the other side, but you still gonna go through it because yeah, I got some fear, but I also got a lot of confidence too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a little bit, it turns to be a little bit different the second time because it's just easier.
That's a fact. We're gonna wrap it up right here, bro, with this last question. I just want you to talk about your foundation, man, and what you building. Your trusted legacy. You got the clothing line, you doing the camps, you really doing everything. You doing events. So kind of just talk about
Yeah.
building that and what you got going on.
Trusted legacy, it's a lot of branches that fall under trusted legacy. Obviously, like you said, I have the apparels, I have the camps and clinics that I do. Um, I have a camp, like a European camp coming up in the summer. Um, and then we do a lot of community outreach as well. My foundation here for you is based around fixing up, fixing up basketball courts or any other recreational spaces in these lower socioeconomic communities and stuff. So it's I think it's big to give off positive vibes and put positive influences in places in any form, especially as it pertains to the kids. And that's what my Here For You Foundation is there for. I actually just got my 501c3 number today. So it makes us eligible to go out there and, seek out some funding and everything and really get this thing moving. So man, I'm excited. It couldn't have come, at a better time for what we're doing. And I think it's gonna play out. It's gonna play out to be great. Um, and through trusted, the legacy is built off of, building out an athlete. Like my aim is to give back all of the game, all of the information that I ever, understood or ever known, about the game and about the mental aspect through programming, through training, virtual, in person, all of that. So working as like a consultant, um, I have my letters in July once I finish school. So it's like it's a lot going on right now, and but all positive for sure.
Man, that's what's up, bro. And Q, so I just we chopped it up off the podcast. We're gonna get something going on in Syracuse with the
Mm-hmm.
course too. So we got some big things coming up, man. I appreciate you
It's gonna be special.
taking the time out and continue blessing with everything you got going on, and we definitely gonna chop it up again soon.
Man, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you. Always love, man, and more success to you.